Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're going to draw Harley Quinn from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a fun way to spend 29 minutes, let's draw. Harley Quinn's first comic appearance was in Batman Adventures 12, 1992. She's one of those rare characters that was not created for comic books. She was created for the animated series, Batman the Animated Series, which came out in 1992 to capitalize on the popularity of the Tim Burton Batman movies, the 89 and then I believe 1991 Batman Returns came out. So seeing all the money they were making, Warner Brothers said, we need to do a cartoon. And Batman the Animated series was born. And then Harley Quinn showed up in a year later in 1992. It might have been less than a year. I don't know what season she premiered in. That would require too much work on my part at this point. And we're going to try to go by memory on this one, too. It's kind of been a thing lately. This could end badly, because Harley Quinn's not one of my favorite characters. I mean, she has a really cool look, and I like drawing her. But as far as characters, not a huge fan. I don't think she's a good role model. I don't like when people say they want a relationship like Joker and Harley, because the Joker never treated Harley good, and he never treated her as an equal. And she was always nothing more than a disposable minion who he got to play with in the off hours. So yeah, I guess they're rehabbing her character now and making her less, evil and less enamored with the Joker. But her start was very storied. Like, there's an episode of the Batman animated series where, to impress the Joker, Harley Quinn actually captures Batman. And when she does, she hangs him upside down over a shark tank, and she has him ready to be unalived. And Joker shows up. What the heck's going on here, Harley? And she's like, Mr. J, I caught the Batman, and I'm gonna, put him down for you. And he's like, no, that's not how this works. And the Joker, Batman eggs her on a little, eggs him on a little. But the Joker basically just slaps Harley around, knocks her out of a window. She crashes into the garbage down below, and she's still laughing about how the Joker loves her. It's really depressing and really not good role model for young women out there. But the 90s were a different time, and they weren't trying to show her as a good role model. They were trying to show how messed up she was, and how basically her Stockholm syndrome with the Joker was playing out, because she would have done anything for him, and he'd do absolutely nothing for her. She was nothing more than another disposable minion who looked good in red and black. So all you guys and gals out there who want a relationship like Harley and Joker, I would rethink that, because it's not cool. I do like movie Harley. Margot Robbie did a great job. If they decide to recast her in the Gunverse, whoever they cast is going to basically have a lot to live up to there, because Margot Robbie nailed it. And despite all the flaws in the Snyderverse DC movies, I really like all of them. Well, most of them. Suicide Squad, the first one, wasn't very fun. It was kind of dark and miserable for a Suicide Squad movie with some humor thrown in. But obviously Harley and I think Captain Boomerang were the standouts. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I'm pretty sure when they showed the flashbacks with the Joker, they pretty much showed him as equals. Like when she's doing the pole dance thing and the guy touches her and she beats the crap out of him, and the Joker's just laughing and joins in, I think. I don't know. But I'm going to have to rewatch these movies. I really like the James Gunn Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad. That's not too confusing for moviegoers. But that movie came out during the dark times, and it was released straight to HBO Max because nobody was going to the movies. And HBO looked at this as a way to get more subscribers. And it worked. I mean, I already had a Max account for some reason. I don't remember why. But yeah, that was a fun movie. Gunn nailed it on that one. It's a nice, tight script. It tells its story. It's funny when it has to be. It's serious when it's not. Peter Capaldi as, I forgot who he played. The guy with the brain things in his head. He was excellent. And any movie that could put Starro the Conqueror in it, and not make it so ridiculous that it's laughable, that's a win in my book. So good on you, Mr. James Gunn. And I was having trouble thinking of what I wanted to do with Harley as far as weapons goes. I was first starting with the bat, but I just wasn't liking the way it looked, and so I went with the hammer, because the hammer is big and fun. I probably should have put a bigger smile on Harley's face, but too late now. And so anyway, James Gunn, his movie, Harley's on the A-team that Amanda Waller pretty much sets up to be slaughtered, and which is really kind of messed up because she has the B-team going in to actually solve the job. So she's pretty much sacrificing Boomerang and BBP. I forgot what that stands for. But Nathan Fillion's character and Captain Boomerang, unfortunately, and Weasel and Harley. But of course, Harley being Harley, she survives and gets captured, I think. She ends up in the castle of the dictator of the country, who wants to use Starro to scare the other countries into falling in line so that he could run the world. And then, Flag ends up surviving too, and he ends up with his contacts, the mercenaries. Then the B team, which is Idris Elba, who's Bloodshot, yeah. Or is it Bloodsport? We'll call him Bloodsport. I'm probably wrong. And then there's Peacemaker, John Cena. They're both great in that movie. The guy who plays Polka Dot Man, I should know his name because I've seen him in a bunch of movies and I think he's awesome, but I don't, so oops there. But he is hilarious and funny in the way he sees his mother in everybody. So when he got to fight somebody and he needs to get angry, he pictures his mother as the person. And at the end when they're fighting Starro and it looks like she crushes Ratcatcher or something. Starro crushes Ratcatcher and he loses his mind and he starts letting his spots out, and you see his mother in place of Starro chomping down the city like a big kaiju. That's pretty great. Ratcatcher 2, she was also fun. Danica McClure or something like that. She was in one of the Fast and Furious movies and a couple other things, in that Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, so she's pretty good. And Ratcatcher was a fun thing, even though they went Ratcatcher 2, but they showed her origin and why she was Ratcatcher 2 and didn't just make it a weird thing. And then you got the scene where Harley is in the Despot's house, mansion, castle, whatever it is. And she thinks he's like the perfect dude. And she hooks up with him and she's all ready to be happy with him. And then he tells her his plan, thinking that she'd be down with it because she's a local hero for her basically fun insanity. And he mentions unaliving children, which is obviously messed up. And Harley basically just bangs him in the head with a gun and a bullet. And she's like, "Sorry, mister, but I told myself after Mr. J that if I saw any red flags, I was going to instantly unalive the person I am with because I am not ready for that kind of trauma again. And I'm a better person, and I deserve better." And she's right. She absolutely does. And it's good that she came to this realization. But, of course, being Harley Quinn in a James Gunn movie, she took it to a whole nother level. And she just, instead of, like leaving the guy or getting away, she takes care of him. But it was the right thing to do because he was kind of a bad guy anyway, and he wanted to do bad things to the world. In the drawing here, I was going to put the white frilly thing she has on in her early costume and in the early comics and in the animated series, but I just didn't like it. So I erased it and didn't go with it. Harley doesn't wear it anymore. She doesn't need it. But I really do like the headdress with the big, the big floppy ear things on it with the balls on the end. The jester's hat, I guess we'll call it. So I always put that on her when I draw her. I'm not one to just give her cool colored hair and stuff. And I like the domino mask. So, if I'm working for DC, I'm going to draw Harley however they want. But when I'm doing my own little pinups here for the channel, I get to make up the costume. And this is what I came up with. It's a variation on how I usually draw her because I have drawn her before. Every once in a while, I'll bust out a canvas. I have a closet full of canvases. Michael's had a great sale one year. It was a Christmas thing, and it was like a flash sale. If you happen to be at Michael's at just the right time, the frames were like buy one, get 3 free. I'm like, what? And it was like only for an hour. And I just happened to be in the store at that time. So I bought as many frames as I could afford, which ended up being like 30 of them. And it didn't cost much at all. It cost less than $100. And I got some decent sized square ones, 24s by 24s, 36 by 36. I don't know if I have any of those left. I got some smaller ones. I got some 18 by 24s. And sometimes I like to draw on canvas. And one of the ones I did, one of my favorite ones, was a Harley. And what I do is I'll pencil it on, paper or iPad and print it out really big and then tape it underneath the canvas. And you got to coat the canvas with some matte clear coat, a few coats to smooth out the canvas, or you're never going to get a pen over it. And then I either use a brush or a pen or a combination of both, and I basically ink her on the canvas. But then I leave it black and white. I don't color the character or the person, because I've done portraits of people like this too on the canvas. Oh, sorry. Pencils are done. It's time to ink Harley Quinn. Yeah, this drawing is actually shorter than most of my drawings. They've been hitting around 38 minutes recently. But Harley, she went quick. Once I figured out what I was going to do with her, the rest was just go for it. Her inks are pretty simple. A lot of black, not too much extra line work, unnecessary. And coloring her was pretty straightforward. There's nothing, time-consuming about drawing this Harley. And it was nice. It was just nice to bang out a nice, fun, easy drawing and not have to overthink things or figure out a bunch of weird things. Like on Absolute Batman, I had to figure out all the Ben Days and the angles and a lot of black spotting and to make it look moody and everything. So yeah, Harley's a nice, simple, fun drawing, and it's nice to do those every now and then. In fact, I got one coming up, Engine from Gachaguju. I don't know what it's called. I gotta look it up when the anime comes up. It's spelled Ejin, and he's in his mask, and he went pretty quick too. Although I was gonna leave him black and white on a colored background, kind of like the way I do the canvases I'm about to finish talking about in a minute, but I think I'm going to have to go back and full color him just because the video is like 20 minutes long, and I don't know, I want it to do well, and I like the character, so I want people to watch it, so he'll be more recognizable if I put him in color, so that's what we're going to do. I also saw K-Pop Demon Hunters, finally, my little bugger that I watch. Apparently she likes the K-Pop Demon Hunters at 2.5 years old, and she sings along with all the songs and all that fun stuff, which I thought was really fun and cool. And it's actually not a bad movie. See, I did that frickin' end stuff thing again. But anyway, and then I do the butt anyway. Oh god, it's like a history of tropes. You'd be doing all kinds of shots if this was a drinking game. Yeah, so my friend who watches all the anime and recommends it to me, he told me that I should watch K-Pop Demon Hunters when it came out, because I guess he said it was good. And I usually follow his recommendations, but for some reason I just never got to that one. And so I watched it with the bugger, and I'm like, this actually is a decent movie. I mean, it's not overly complicated. It's pretty straightforward and simple. I like the way they take the 3D animation and they use 2D animated style facial expressions, like when they're surprised or worried or whatever. And it does do a little uncanny valley sometimes with the mouths when they overextend them past the eyes. Sometimes it looks a little buggy, and I don't like it. That stuff weirds me out. You'll notice, like, sometimes I'll draw a mouth and I'll extend the edges of the mouth past the eyes, which is a no-no because the mouth lines up with the center of the eyes. But sometimes I'm just drawing quick and I do it because gosh forbid I should actually draw the lines on the face where I should stop the mouth. Little things like that, which would probably make my life a lot easier and make the drawings go faster. But yeah, I don't like it, and I always fix it. And when they do it in Demon Hunter, I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. That's ugly. But it was fun. So I drew Rumi. So Rumi will be coming up, the leader. I was gonna do the one with the short black hair, but I decided I'll do them in order, and I'll do them in a way where I could put them into a group shot when they're all done. So that'll be coming up soon. There you go. See, I did the so thing again. Take a shot. Back to the canvases, though, which I went way too far without talking about after bringing it up. I'll do a black and white drawing on the canvas, kind of like the inked version of this Harley. And then I'll mask her off with a white outline around her, and then I'll paint like the canvas for her. I just did red and black. And I'll paint the canvas red, and then I'll tape off some stripes coming off her, radiating off of her. Sometimes I'll hand draw them if I want them to look messy. And then when I'm done drawing the stripes, I'll usually outline them in white or a color. I don't remember if I outlined them on a Harley. I have a picture of it, I'll have to look. But if I did, it would have been white, although I think a nice blue would have looked good too. But anyway, so that's what I do. I did a Batgirl as a commission once. That one was awesome. I did the black and white Batgirl, and I drew Batgirl the way that I usually draw her. And it's kind of like street clothes. But that one, I went crazy with the colors. I did purple and like bright purple and bright greens, stripes in the background. It's like, oh. But the person loved it, so thankfully I didn't have to repaint the background on it, because sadly when someone's paying you to do something, you kind of got to give them what they want, not what you want. It's just part of the gig. And I want to do some more of them. Like, I drew a Deadpool on a sketch cover that I really like. And I want to do a Deadpool canvas. And I might actually color him, because it's Deadpool, he's only a couple colors. And I want to do some other ones. And just some random canvases of random things that aren't even comic characters. I want to do, like, some of my fairies would be fun. I did one of my fairies, and it was awesome. And when I moved, a box fell on it and tore a giant hole in the canvas, and I was like, oh, awful. So I might do some of them, which I should draw a fairy for this channel. I think you guys might like the fairies. I don't know if you'll watch the fairies, but the people who actually watched all the way through it and are here for my fun banter and the art will dig the fairies. And anybody who likes fairies will dig the fairies. They're I won't give you the origin of the fairies till I draw one, because it's kind of fun and interesting, and it's my take. A friend of mine challenged me. She loves fairies, and she's like, you should draw a fairy. I'm like, I can't draw a fairy. I can't, that's not my thing. And she's like, oh, come on, you can make fairies cool. And I thought about it, and I thought, how would I make fairies cool? And I actually came up with a whole story. I mean, I wouldn't draw a comic of it, because it would take forever to do each issue. And I'd never get it done, and it'd be really disappointing, and I need a writer, and I don't really know a writer who wants to help me write a book about fairies, unfortunately. But I will draw a fairy for this channel, and you guys will get to see what they look like and hear the story. Just not in a Harley Quinn video, which I'm more than halfway through already. Jeez, I barely talked about Harley. But yeah, the Harley canvas was cool because, I got the pose right, I nailed it. She's like leaning back, and her like pelvis is kind of coming at you, and she's holding a bomb in one hand, like a little handheld old school bomb, like one of the round ones from a Looney Tunes cartoon with a wick and a fuse on it, and then her other hand is swung back behind her head holding her baseball bat. It's really cool. I should have just redrew that for here, but that would be cheating. And the idea of this is drawing things from scratch, although I really should sometimes do preliminary sketches before I get to the drawing. I sort of did that with the Spider-Gwen. I recorded myself doing a bunch of quick sketches, and then when I got to the one I liked, I just cut off all the ones I didn't like and started from there, just to save time really on video. And that worked out really well. And then when I drew the Demon Hunter girl, she came together really quick, roomy. So if a video starts out every now and then with a little sketch on the thing, it's because I was just messing around and said, oh, I like that, I should do this as a drawing. And then I finished from there, but it wouldn't be more than a 2-minute sketch that you're missing out on. And I didn't record it, and I didn't want to erase it and start over, so I do that. Once I get an idea and I like it, I just go with it, and I don't really think it. I don't even really have sketchbooks. I never did the whole sketching thing. I just thought of something and I drew it, good or bad. And that's how these videos usually go. I just think of something, I decide who I want to draw, and I draw it. And I hope for the best. And sometimes they go really quickly, like Harley here, and sometimes they take forever because I labor on things and I think too much. I'm also going to start just sketching poses randomly, and maybe I'll actually record them and make little videos of that too. Just as like little quick videos, because sometimes getting the pose right is really been hard for me. So I think I just need to practice body shapes and attaching body parts and things like that, because it would make my life a heck of a lot easier if I just had a method instead of basically faking it every time I started drawing until it looks good. Any professional artist will tell you that's not the way to do it, especially if you're getting paid, because you got to get stuff done under a deadline. And if it takes you 45 minutes to get a pose, it should have taken you 45 minutes to pencil and ink that drawing. So, because like the average drawing that I do, once I get everything figured out, usually takes from pencils to colors, it takes about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Sometimes more, like Galactus and the Silver Surfer took forever because I had to do a lot of thinking on that one and getting it right, and the two characters, and Galactus is a bear to ink with all those straight lines. And some other ones took a long time, like Spawn took forever because of that cape. Oh my god, drawing that cape was a nightmare. But it's also awesome because I'm sitting here complaining about it, but at the same time while I was doing it, I was having fun figuring out where all the little folds and wrinkles go. So, you know, it's the finished product, the reward that makes it worth it for me when I actually finish a drawing. Like, yeah, that's cool. But back to Harley, she was in the castle with the despot. She already took him out because he said he was going to do unaliving things to kids, which is very not cool. And it's good that Harley agrees with that, because it would be awful if she did not, even as a villain. And they catch her and they're torturing her. And they leave her alone in the room for whatever reason. And Harley shows you why she's Harley Quinn. She basically does some acrobatic stuff to pull up and get the keys her handcuffs undone with the keys, and she escapes. Well, she has this big scene where she's escaping and she's just taking out everybody, and you see it from her point of view, and there's flowers coming out of guns, and it is pretty awesome. James Gunn nailed that scene, and at the same time, Rick Flag is planning on how to save her. Oh, I gotta stop again for a minute, because on Harley, with her colors, I did not go with a regular dark red. I went with like a magenta red because I thought it would be more fun. And when I drew her before I drew Captain America, actually, and the fact that I used the bright magenta on her and more of a cyan for the blue is what made me think, oh, you know, if I do Captain America in brighter colors instead of just regular blue and regular red, it would be much more interesting to look at. And Harley is what inspired me to do that this drawing, because I just draw things and I just figure out what order I should put them out, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And so Harley's escaping, and you see it from her point of view, and you got the flowers flying out of things, and she's getting there, and the B-Team Flag and Bloodsport and Peacemaker and Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, they're all like, whoa, we gotta save Harley. So they make a plan to get her out, and they start getting the plan ready to go. And they get to like the place where they're gonna climb. They're starting to climb up the walls to get in, and Harley just kind of walks out the door. It's like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? And Frag's like, oh, we're coming to save you. And she's like, oh my god, that's so sweet. And she's almost in tears. I can't believe you guys were coming to get me. I hope you don't mind my Harley voice. I kind of do that sometimes. You should hear my voice from my mother. It's hilarious. Well, I think it's hilarious. So, of course it is. And so she's like, oh, it's so sweet. And he's like, oh, well, I guess we don't have to do that. She's like, I could go back in and you could still do the plan. And I'm like, no, that's fine, Harley, we're good. We'll just go on from here. We're glad you're okay. And that's a nice, fun moment. And then at the end of the movie, when they're fighting Starro, which is awesome. Starro. I think Starro's first appearance is in Justice League #1. He was the first villain the Justice League fought. See, I originally started with the shading down the center of Harley's face with the blue, and it looks kind of cool, but I do that in a lot of drawings lately, so I decided to switch it up to edge lighting. It wouldn't really be edge lighting, more like edge shading with the light facing front, because I do the shading down the middle a little too much now since I did it the first time and I loved it, and I kind of just keep doing it. Like, I definitely can't do it on a Demon Hunter drawing. Rory would look ridiculous if I put a big shadow down the middle of her face, because that is not how that show is lit at all. It's very bright and very right in your face, even though it does have some dark moments in it. Coloring Harley was nice because it's pretty straightforward at this point. Once I decided where the light was going to go, you just put some shadows around the edges, a little pink to show some blush and give her some life, and she has the pale white skin, which is kind of nice, and it bounces off the background really well and separates the parts of her body for her costume. Yeah, Harley as for the visual is really awesome, and you can't go wrong with her. And as for the background, ooh, I don't believe I left that flashing in there. I don't like that stuff. I cut that out every time I see it. But yeah, I put the splatter background. I was like, that's cool. We could just call Harley a day. And then I'm like, nah, it needs more. So I throw all these circles on it, and then we're pretty much done with Harley. I don't know how long I leave this on here, though, so we'll just kind of watch me play with circles and not draw. Another problem when I drew the Demon Hunter girl is I was babysitting when I was doing it, so I kind of forgot to record a few parts. And her hair looks terrible right now. She's got that long flowing ponytail, so I gotta completely redraw that. But we'll talk about that more in her video. So at the end of Suicide Squad, they're all fighting Starro, and Polka Dot Man sees his mom and does the thing and takes out parts of Starro. And the starfish are on the people's faces, because Starro, he can control people by putting little baby starfishes. They go on your face, and then he controls you, and he basically takes over the whole country that they were sent to save, basically. And Harley goes running with the spear that I think Nathan Fillion gave her in the beginning of the movie. And she just jumps off a building and stabs right through Starro's giant eye, because Starro is like kaiju sized. And she ends up swimming inside of his eye, and it's actually kind of a beautifully shot scene. James Gunn framed it, and the music and the slow motion and the lighting, it was really nice. And then Ratcatcher, she sends, I'm saying Ratcatcher really weird, but anyway, I've been saying it throughout the whole video that way. And the rats get in the eyes, and they start eating on Starro's optic nerves and everything, and they take him out. And as you can see, I put a grunge texture over Harley at first, and I decided she's too clean. She doesn't need it. So after I do the whole give her a little blush around certain parts and fade it out to make her look like she actually exists and she's not just a porcelain statue, I decided to take the whole grunge statue off. And she's also a drawing where I didn't need all those filters, the the vintage film filter, or the chromatic aberration thing. She's just a nice, clean drawing of Harley Quinn, and that's why I like it. And Harley Quinn is done. So thank y'all for listening to my ramblings for the past 29 minutes. Like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Go out and draw something, and I'll see you next week.